India, the USA, Great Britain, the Netherlands, Venezuela. People from these and many other countries of the world live with us side by side. They're working, starting families, bringing up children, and simply enjoying life in Kazakhstan. In our program, Connecting Cultures, they share their stories that had occurred in their lives before they came to Kazakhstan and after they arrived here. From them, we will learn how the experience of staying in our country has changed their destinies. The hero of today's program is Simon Persico. Simon is an employee of a large international organization that works in the health sector. Simon was born in America, more precisely in Miami, Florida. Miami, a city located on the Atlantic coast in the southeast of Florida. It is one of the most important financial centers in the United States. This is the main center of commerce, finance, and large multinational business groups. Tourism is also an important part of the economy of Miami. Business establishments, beaches, conferences, cultural festivals, and events in the city attract over 38 million visitors a year. Miami Beach in the southern part of the city, known as one of the most glamorous places in the world because of its nightclubs, beaches, historical buildings, and shops. Simon came to Kazakhstan on a fellowship through an organization called Princeton in Asia. This 116-year-old program sends talented American students to work in 20 different Asian countries, from Kazakhstan to Cambodia. Simon has a very difficult and demanding job. He specializes in projects in the field of HIV prevention and family planning. He is responsible for developing new, business-oriented health models to deliver family planning and reproductive health services to the women of Central Asia. So Simon, tell us where you're from and a little bit about your family.
That's a great question, Josiah. My family is the most important thing to me. My mother is of Italian descent, and she grew up in New York, and my father is a first-generation immigrant from Jamaica, and they met together in Central Florida, a few hours north of Miami, which is where I came to spend most of my life as a child. They were just the best parents, but I have to admit, as a child, I was always getting in trouble, always getting in accidents. I remember once, not far from Jamaica, in a small island called St. Croix, I got in a terrible biking accident right on Easter Sunday. And there were no surgeons on the island, no doctors, and my grandmother had to come to the hospital and take my blood. She's a lab tech. And they had to fly in an orthodontist from a separate island, St. Thomas, to provide the surgery on Easter Sunday.
So what was it like growing up then in Florida?
Oh, it was a blast. American high school is just like everything you see on the movies. It's fun and it's structured, but it also gives you the freedom to blossom as an individual. But I was not the best high school student, I can tell you that. I struggled, and at times I thought that maybe I wouldn't even have the opportunity to graduate. But I made friends that have stuck with me throughout my life, and after high school, I had the opportunity to take my first job working in politics, which was a world-changing experience. I joined all the local political clubs and walked up to every candidate that election cycle until one of them said, "Come work for me." And I took that opportunity, and it's changed me ever since.
While studying at university, Simon discovered his talent as a speaker, but to develop it, it was necessary to learn how to better communicate, and that is not less important, to prove his idea to others. To do this, Simon began to engage in school debate. The debate has its origins in ancient Greece, where they were an important element of democracy. In Athens, citizens debated the pros and cons of the proposed legislation. The students learned to argue, analyzing the problem from different perspectives in order to better understand them. So, debate is an intellectual game, which is a special form of a debate that is conducted according to certain rules. The essence of the debate lies in the fact that the two teams present their arguments and counter-arguments to defend and refute the proposed thesis. The debates have a judge or jury that will decide the winner of the debate based on specific criteria. The debate can take many forms. The number of participants varies from 2 to 4 for each team. In some kinds of debates, participants are only permitted to deliver their speech, while others they are given the opportunity to participate in cross-cutting issues. Now tell us about some of the things that you were passionate about. Maybe there were some extracurricular activities and things that you were involved in university.
After working in politics, I learned that I never wanted to work in politics again. So I went to the University of Florida, which is about 4 hours north of Miami. And there I participated in the speech and debate team, which was extremely formative to me. And traveled throughout the country and really deeply engaged with important social and political issues at the highest level. And at the same time, I was interested in international development, which led me to focus my studies on business and also the role that women play in development and health and economics. So I did Model United Nations and a host of other activities. And after debate and finding my passion for international development, I became interested in entrepreneurship as well, because I've always believed that it's markets that can really help change people more than anything else. So me and some of my best friends started writing business plans, and we were lucky enough to be able to present them in Dallas and Hong Kong, and we really got a lot of traction that way. And that's when I knew that I'd made the right decision about what I'd wanted to study.
And what brought you here to Kazakhstan?
After university, I was so lucky. 120-year-old organization, Princeton Asia, took a chance on me and invited me to be a fellow for 2014 and 2015. And they asked me if I had the opportunity, where in Asia would I like to work and what would I like to do? And without thinking about it too much, I just felt something inside of me told me to go to Kazakhstan. And prior to that, I didn't know what Almaty was, I didn't know what Astana was. But I just knew that this was a once-in-a-lifetime chance to go somewhere that a lot of Americans don't have the opportunity to go to. And I've never regretted it.
So Simon, tell us about your first time when you came to Kazakhstan. What was your first impression?
I knew from the second the airplane landed that Kazakhstan would be nothing like I expected. It was beautiful, it was welcoming, and it was a lot of fun. You know, I landed here at 3:30 or 4 in the morning, and my friends picked me up, and we went immediately to an American-themed bar and grill. And living in Kazakhstan ever since has felt just like my new home. The people that I work with have been incredible. The friends that I've been able to make have done everything to make me feel at home, and I really appreciate that.
Can you tell us about some of the work and some of the projects that you're involved with here?
Great. Well, I work at a large international NGO, and the lion's share of our activities seek to help people who have HIV or tuberculosis. We work in Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, and of course, Kazakhstan. And my duty is to do my best to help make these operations sustainable so they can last long term.
Since arriving to Kazakhstan, what has been your most fond experience?
I remember I was with an Australian Kazakhstani named Altair, and he took us into the mountains and Medeo and Shimbulak, and we hiked all day up through glaciers. It was beautiful. It's coming from Florida, you just never get to see that kind of thing. And after we got down back to the foot of the mountain, I had my first sip of kumis, and it was so refreshing and wonderful.
Now, why did you choose this profession and this field of work?
Well, our work deals with the people who are more vulnerable to HIV and tuberculosis than anybody else. People with drug problems, people who immigrated from different parts of the region, or people who are prisoners. And I've always felt that I've been gifted with a voice, and I wanted to be the voice for others who were less fortunate and didn't have people looking out for their health or their well-being.
Now, in the future, when you'll talk about Kazakhstan, what will you say about the country?
I'll tell them to come to Kazakhstan immediately. I have been so blessed since I've been in this country. Everything from the food, to the people, to the architecture. Kazakhstan, and especially Almaty, has been a dream.
So, Simon, what are some of your plans for the future?
Well, personally, it's very important to me to have the chance to find a wife and have a family. But professionally, I really want to continue empowering people to have access to the health commodities and services that they need.
So I wanted to ask specifically about your time here in Kazakhstan. Maybe there's some achievements that you feel that you need to accomplish here while you're here.
Yeah. I really want to be part of building the health infrastructure that it takes to fight communicable diseases like HIV and AIDS.
So Simon, if there was one thing really that you kind of would like to live your life by and achieve in your lifetime, in your work, what would that be?
I don't want to be just another ant in a maze, you know. I want to have the ability to really shape policy and guide people to live healthier lifestyles. And part of that is me having the ability to improve my education and advance professionally and really be able to rise to an executive leadership position in the nonprofit world.
Today, our guest on the program was Simon Persico, a positive and purposeful man who dreams of a better world. And he is making his dream a reality here in Kazakhstan.